Yo, just got done with some cardio here, so all of a sudden my cheeks puffed out, right? It's about water retention. So I got my gallon over here I'm working on for the day. And I tell you what, I want to talk about two different things today. One is the testosterone level that I had. Okay, I went and got checked. I hadn't been checked in like 2 years. And I've noticed like some hormone fluctuations and I don't like it. Some days I'll be super moody. Some days I'll feel amazing. Sometimes the libido is really high, sometimes really bad. That's just the way I feel as a man in general. Does that make sense? And so I was like, you know what? I got to do something a little different here. So I went and got tested and my level's about 760, which is really good. You know, for a guy who's 29 years old, they tell me that the high reference range is like 840 or something like that. So I'm like way on the upper end of this. And I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, so if the testosterone's fine, why do I feel like I'm losing muscle? Why do I feel like I'm tired all the time, like I do have low T? And the issue here was, you know, I was like, what's my free T? And they're like, well, we don't know. I said, what's that number up top? Like literally the nurse practitioners had no idea what I was asking for. I was asking them the hard questions because that's why I wanted to go in. I'm not just some little kid who's like, hey, I don't know what I want. I know exactly what I want and what I'm looking for because I've done the research. I want to check thyroid function. Guys, I'm a 0.4. I don't know if you know, but the thyroid function goes from 0.4 to about 4.5. Guys who have a hard time packing on like weight, for example, like me, probably your thyroid's pretty low like that, as far as that scale number, because you're basically burning up so much energy that your brain's telling your body to like burn this faster. So your metabolism is really high, and that's a good thing to have. We always want to bring that number a little lower, but I don't want to be hyperthyroid, right? And then there's the opposite, which is hypo. So you got slow metabolism, you eat one thing, you feel bloated, you get more weight, and it's upsetting as well. And so I checked that, so that's interesting to know. And then the other thing I checked was the SHBG, so the globulin hormone that binds to the testosterone. That was 56, which is 6 points above the high reference range. So sure, I may have 760 you know, testosterone, but that doesn't mean I get to utilize all of it, because it's getting like bound up. And so what I started to do is take some boron, about 6 milligrams a day in the morning, and stacked up with my other supplements. But not just that, I'm also doing you know, a lot more water here, and fish oil, vitamin C, about 1,000 milligrams, zinc and magnesium. So those kinds of things to try to help bring that down a little bit. And I feel like it's working because I feel like the muscles coming back. I'm eating more. Okay, that's a big thing. Like, don't restrict your calories too much. You need those carbs, especially if you're working out. Like, I'm sweating right now. So when you're doing that, you're gonna want that energy to blast through everything. So I thought that was very interesting that I got done. It was basically an annual exam that they did for free through the insurance. And then the other thing I want to talk about real quick is, what is it? I remember now. It is the idea. Okay, so last night I did an experiment. I had caffeine late at night. It was about 8 or 9 p.m. I didn't really want to do it, and I knew going into it that this was going to happen, but I wanted to test it anyway. It was kind of a celebration, my brother's birthday. But I had a Coke Zero, and you may think, oh, that's kind of harmless, right? Like, oh, well, you know, there's no sugar in it, and there's probably like negligible caffeine. The problem is this. It's like 40 milligrams, don't quote me on it. It's like 40 milligrams of like caffeine in a can. That's 12 ounces. The ones that get you at some of these like restaurants are a lot more than that. It could be like 20 ounce, 24 ounce. So now you're taking that 40 number and multiplying it by like a 1.5 factor, and then times however many refills you got. I got like 3 or 4. So now I'm wired at night, and I don't want to be. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to go to bed because I needed to wake up at 6 because I was busy today. I'm trying to go fly. I'm trying to get my biannual flight review done so I can go rent out some airplanes and just go have a good time. But, you know, that kind of like hindered me a little bit. Luckily, my flight was canceled, so I didn't get to do it. But it would have been a struggle today, because I couldn't go to bed till like 1. I had to wake up at 6, so I had a 5-hour nap. And I don't do very well under 6 hours of sleep. Other people may do just fine, but I don't. And like literally my brain was on. And then I woke up multiple times throughout the night. So most of the days, I haven't done this in a long time, but I'll have caffeine like in the morning, have my morning workout, And then that, by the time the night rolls around, we're ready to go and there's no caffeine in the system and I can fall asleep and stay asleep the whole night. But last night, I wasn't having it. And I contributed to the caffeine. So guys, if you're having caffeine late at night, unless you're working late at night, there's really no reason to do that unless you just have to stay up to drive or something, but it's not worth it. I just did the experiment and not cool. But yeah, we're here at the gym, just finished, like I said, and I'm gonna keep getting it. Guys, what made me so confident into who I am today, because I was so shy. I was a shy guy. People would be like, you know, that kid over there, you know, bullied, because it was an easy target, right? Easy prey, low-hanging fruit. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna deal with this anymore. Started to work out, started to better myself. And you know, some of the guys who look good back in the day definitely don't anymore, right? Think about some of the high school people you've been with. What are they doing these days, right? I removed like 300 plus Facebook friends from high school because I don't need that energy in my life. You know, everything is energy. And the world isn't what it is. It is how you see it. So if you think it's bad out there, it is going to be bad out there. But if you're grateful for just one single day and the ability to be able to see like the tiniest little things, like I feel like a bunch of sweat coming in my eye. I'm so grateful for that sweat, because if I didn't have sweat, I would literally be like boiling alive because I wouldn't have any coolant system. And so trying to reframe negative thinking into positive things is something I'm really working on constantly. You know what I mean? So is it a pain that I had to move the whole back seat down to put in the exhaust pipes for my Trans Am? Yeah, it is. But I'm so grateful I have a car like this to go fast, to feel alive. Guys, I hate to say it, but like some of these cars, like when I'm driving my Mazda versus when I'm driving this Camaro, I feel completely like two different people. And I know it's not necessarily true, like I am the same person, but you just have a different, one's like business, like I'm going to work. The other one is like, I'm backwards hat, like I'm cool, you know, bad boy dude. And I think that's what we all want to get to, is we want to have that bad boy feeling, but the good guy side. You know what I mean? It's called the full package. And this is what girls love too. They don't want just the bad guy. They don't want just the good guy. They want a mix. Somebody who's self-aware and intelligent in that way. Somebody who looks good as well. Somebody who is ready and able to, at a moment's notice, go after what they want. And so that confidence is attractive to the women. It's attractive to other people, and they're going to see that. So anyway, boys, in a world full of fakeness and deception, I'll see you in the next video.